Hi everybody. It's been a long time, hasn't it, since I posted a video. I've just been wicked busy, with a whole bunch of projects, so I really haven't carved out any time to post any videos on my channel. But here I am. It's the day after Thanksgiving. It's always a good day of the year for me, to make videos anyway, because my wife's out of town. So I thought what I do today is present a couple of my Edison cylinder phonographs that have the Model D repeater on them. These were introduced, I think maybe 1904 or 1905, and they had a pretty good production span, but they didn't sell very well. People, if you wanted to repeat a cylinder over and over and over again, they were the thing to have, but they were kind of a gadget, that not very many people went in for them. But you can see over here, there's one on an Edison home phonograph of mine. It's a Model B Edison home phonograph. I can't even remember where I got this one from, but I've had both of these for many years. This one right here, and I apologize, you can see the sun is looking like it's cutting part of the end of the Triumph off, but this is a Model B Triumph. It's in pretty nice shape, and this has the Model D repeater on it also. The repeaters are a lot harder to find on Triumphs than they are on the Edison homes. Partly because the Edison Triumph was a higher priced machine, and they certainly didn't sell as many of the Edison Triumph. And then on top of it, the repeater itself was an extra, I don't know, maybe $7 or something. It's just a guess. But anyway, it was an extra charge if you wanted the repeater. And I can tell you that they can be a pain to get running right. There's instructions in the Edison phonograph monthlies on how to set these up so that they'll repeat, but it's not easy. What you see in print is not in practice is easy. I'll tell you right now. I think for both of these, it took me the good part of a day and scratching my head and playing the same cylinder over and over, trying to get the thing to run right, to repeat. So anyway, it was kind of a pain in the neck to get these so that they're repeating the cylinder correctly. But once you have them set, then they're good. You've got everything tightened down good. Then you're fine. Then you're stuck with listening to the cylinder. Of course, you could change it. You could lift the carriage up, but if you want to hear a cylinder over and over again, these are the things to get. But again, they're hard to find. This particular machine, this is an Edison Triumph. I'll tell you a quick story about it. Yeah, if you can stand my stories. I think it was like 1995. I got a telephone call from some dealers up in Beekmantown, New York, which is way up near, almost to the Canadian border in New York State. And they said, "Hey, Doug," they knew that I collected phonographs, and they called me and they said, "Hey, we got one in. It's kind of a big one. It plays the cylinders." I said, "Okay, I'll come up in the morning." So I made the trip up, and I got there, and they had this Edison Triumph, and I said, "Oh, it's an Edison Triumph." And they said, "Yeah, it works, but there's some loose parts down inside the cabinet, and they go with it." And so I lifted up the motorboard, and I looked, and I said, "My gosh, these are repeater parts." And I told them that, I was honest. I said, these were an accessory that helped repeat the cylinder, because they want to know if I knew what the parts were. And I said, "Yeah, but I said I don't know if it's all there or not." And they said, "Well, we don't care, if the chances are that there's going to be some missing parts, but anyway, you're buying it as it is. And I think I paid him like $500 for it. It seemed fair to me. So then I came home and I took the parts out and I put them in a plastic Ziploc baggie. And that was it. I looked at it and I said, yeah, I'll mess around with the repeater attachment, see if all the parts are there some other day. But probably 10 years went by and I was just using the Triumph, playing the Triumph without, just as a plain Jane Triumph, 2-minute Model B. And then I thought, you know what? I had some extra time one day and I said, I'm going to see if I can hook up the repeater attachment, because it was all drilled out. The places, that need to be drilled out was drilled out, for this right here, for the, part of the attachment. So anyway, so I messed around with it, I put it together, and I fiddled and fiddled and fiddled with it, and I said, I think all the parts are here, and my gosh, like I said, it probably took me a good part of a full day, working from like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, right until about 8 o'clock at night, and I finally got the thing playing. And so anyway, that's the story on that. So I've kept it on here ever since. I probably have, I must have at least 7 or 8 Edison Triumphs, but this is the only one with a repeater on it. And I think I have maybe 2 Edison Homes with the repeater attachment on them. So anyway, that's that. So I would like to treat you to a couple cylinders played probably only on the Triumph. And one other thing I wanted to show you was this. This is kind of neat. This hung in an Edison phonograph dealer store, shop, whatever you want to call it. It's a tin sign. I picked this up only a couple years ago. It's not. It's an original tin sign, that hung inside an Edison phonograph dealer. I'm guessing maybe 1905, but these are really, really hard to find. And somebody had it. Somebody called me up a couple of years ago, and they said, "Hey, we've got an old Edison phonograph sign that was my grandfather's or my great-grandfather's. I think it was his grandfather's. And this guy was in his 80s, I think." And he said it was, his grandfather, took it out of an old place, that sold Edison phonographs. And so we agreed on a price, and I came home with it. But I wanted to just share that with you folks in case you ever find anything like that. They're kind of neat, kind of hard to find too. Okay, so I'll be back in a little while and play 1 or 2 cylinders for you. Thanks. Hi, I'm back with to play a cylinder for you. This is one of I have several of these flowered Morning Glory horns. This is a TCT horn, TCT, T-Tray Company. And I'm going to play you Down and Out by Arthur Collins. Here we go. Edison Triumph Model B with the repeater.
All in, down and out, sung by Arthur Collins, Edison record. Friends never do. It seemed to me so awful strange to get refused about a little change. Now this was all I said to him. lend me 10 cents. Oh, to Jim, it made me just as blue could be, to have my very best friend say to me, sorry I ain't got it, you could get it if I had it, but I'm all in, down and out. I could send you to a friend who'd be very glad to lend you, but he's all in, down and out. When I had money, I was crazy to lend, but if I ever get my hand on a dollar again, I'm gonna hold on to it. It's your only friend when you're all in, down and out. I went and told my old friend Joe what Jim had said the day before. Said Joe to me, well, I'll be blamed if that ain't a doggone measly shame. Why didn't you come right down to me? I could have let you have a V, 'cause now I've just got $20 left to see, and I couldn't spare a dime of that to nobody. Sorry I ain't got it, you could get it if I had it, but I'm all in, down and out. I could send you to a friend who'd be very glad to lend you, but he's all in, down and out. When I had money, I was crazy to lend, but if I ever get my hand on a dollar again, I'm gonna hold on to it. It's your only friend when you're all in, down and out. All in, down and out, sung by Arthur Collins, Edison Record. I had a friend I thought was true, but I done found out friends never do. It seemed to be so awful strange that
Figured you didn't want to hear it again. But anyway, so that is the Model D repeater on an Edison Model B Triumph phonograph.